And we are ready. With that, we will throw it over to Zelo for Pump It Up.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is going to be showcase for Pump It Up XX. This is a game that celebrates the 20th anniversary of Pump from a couple years back. So this mix is actually a couple of years old, but it is the latest game in the series. Pump It Up is a music rhythm game similar to DDR, where you hit arrows in time or sometimes not in time with the music. With me, I have my wonderful wife, Haru, for commentary. If you'd like to introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Haru, I'm Zelo's wife. I will be mostly speaking when he's playing. So, let's start.
All right, so I wanted to say a couple of things. I want to thank the staff for letting me do this showcase because this ended up being a last-minute fill-in for a drop in the schedule. So I really appreciate the staff letting me do this. And a lot of my friends and family fall under the LGBTQ category. I'm not one of them. I'm only an ally, but many of my friends and family and many wonderful people in this community fall under that. So this showcase is dedicated to all of them.
Well, I'm bi, so it counts.
But speaking of rhythm gamers, other rhythm gamers like to see other rhythm gamers suffer. So we're going to have a little bit of an unofficial donation goal right here. If y'all can reach $8,500 by the time we reach the 1 hour mark for the showcase, I will play a level 27 song at the end. And for reference, the scaling for difficulty in this game is 1 to 28. So 27's pretty hard. So y'all can do up to $8,500 by the 1 hour mark. I will play a level 27 song at the very end. But with that, I'm going to get started. I will start a timer on my end so I can keep track. I will not be talking. Staff can start timer whenever, and Haru can go ahead and take it away with commentary.
Okay, let's start. As Zelo mentioned, this is a rhythm game, which means you have to mostly use your ears and listen to the music to hit the sequences of arrows or other figures on the screen. There are also visual keys. When Zelo will start a song, you will see there is a white trafaret at the top of the screen. We call it a step zone. So when the arrow reaches the step zone is a moment when you need to press that arrow. Usually it corresponds to the sound in the music. Not always. Probably people working with sound are familiar with such term as sync. Sync means that visual lineup should be corresponding to music, but it's not always right. And we're starting with the first song. This is a very interesting choice for a first song because the song is dedicated to the game itself, Pump It Up. It has a lot of mentions of older and newer songs in the lyrics, and it also has parts of older videos in the background. Speaking of the backgrounds, we call this background animation, BGA. Pump It Up is notorious of having specific BGA for almost every song in the game. That's why the gameplay is so colorful and interesting when you play it in arcade. Speaking of arcades, we did not actually mention this, but this is an arcade game, and Zelo is playing on an actual arcade machine which is located in our house. But normally you can meet this game going to your local arcade. If you are located in the United States, it could be Dave & Buster's or Round 1. You notice that Zelo is playing on only one side of the platform, but the platform has two sides. When playing on one side, which is the most common way of playing, it's called a singles play. Later on we'll see Zelo moving to both sides, and that is called doubles play.
Wow, you're awesome! Wow!
Pump It Up is notorious for having a lot of different small jokes inside the game, inside videos, inside music, and in the sequences of arrows. We call it a step chart. What Zilla played, I believe, was single 17. You may notice there are colorful circles on the screen. They represent the difficulties. This game has difficulties from level 1, which is the very beginner level, with very few arrows on the screen, up to level 28, which is the hardest. As Zilla mentioned, if we reach a certain threshold in the donations, he will attempt a level 27, that is second hardest in the game. This song is actually a remix of one of the Toho teams. Sadly, I'm not very familiar with Toho songs, so I can't say which exact team is this. Maybe somebody in the chat can help me. Pump It Up is a Korean game, so it's notorious for having different selection of music from many other rhythm games which are made by Japanese companies. Pump It Up has several groupings of songs. Excuse me. This song is an original, which means it's made by in-house composers or licensed specifically for use in Pump It Up and can't be licensed for any other game. There are also other categories of music, such as world music, which are non-exclusive licenses, K-pop, pretty much any Korean pop music, which is not only like pop, it can also be rock, metal, rap. Any Korean genre goes under K-pop. And lately, in last few games, there were also introduced J-music, specific licenses from Japanese artists, and cross, which means songs from other rhythm games. We'll get there later if Zilla picks up something from those categories. So this was a level 20. It's a bit harder than the first song he played. And you can see there was a lot of leg movement. Pump It Up is pretty much a very fitness-oriented game, so it requires a lot of physical stamina and endurance and speed of movement to succeed playing harder levels. But Pump It Up is very inclusive, and pretty much anyone can play the game, because the level ranges from very easy stuff. And almost every song in the game has at least several easy and several harder levels. Now we move to world music. I believe this is a Filipinous performer, Filipinous artist. I may be wrong though, I'm really sorry if I'm wrong. So, Dasu is an artist for this song, and the song is called 86. You may also notice some really weird visual effects going on the screen. And this shaking is exactly what Zillow sees when he's playing. It's not the bad frame rate. Pump It Up is not... Pump It Up likes to add some visual effects to step charts to make them harder. We call it gimmicks. One other specific of this step chart, it's oriented not on speed of the movement, but on the complexity. So it requires some brain processing, not just going as fast as you can. There are different ways to make songs harder, and Pump It Up uses all of them pretty much. So the chat is asking if this is basic. I assume this is a question about the difficulty, and no, this level of difficulty is pretty hard. Zillow is going on a very hard level of gameplay. So, if you're interested in technical aspect of this step chart, the song is scrolled at much higher speed than the actual music goes, and then the stutters are made using stops. Stop is pretty much BPM 0, but realized differently in the engine.
Wow, you're awesome.
There are quite a few ways to make those visual effects. So Pump Engine is somewhat unique because it allows a variety of different visual things.
Hold it up, 20. Yes, Annex to Annex Absolute.
Let's see what Zillow is going to do next. If you have any donations, please go ahead and read them.
No donations, but we can read a blurb about the Trevor Project.
Yes, please go ahead and do that.
A majority of youth choose to contact the Trevor Project rather than other providers because the organization is LGBTQ affirming or a trusted provider of crisis services. 90% of young people who reach out to Trevor experience de-escalation from suicidal thoughts. One supportive person can decrease an LGBTQ's youth's risk of suicide by 30%. The Trevor Project aims to always be there for LGBTQ youth in crisis with a clear message. They should be proud of who they are and that they are not alone. Very important charity, and we are $300 away from getting to see Zillow play a ridiculously hard song.
Thank you. Speaking of ridiculously hard, I said there are different ways to make a step chart hard for a player, and this is something completely different from what we saw before. At the very end of this song, you will see a lot of jumps that have more than 2 arrows go very, very fast. And it's really hard to hit them just staying vertically on the pad. Some people have big feet and they are able to press more than 2 arrows at once, like jump on all 5. But those who are not lucky with having big feet or good platform, they just have to go and mash all 5 using their hands like Zillow just did. You do what you gonna do, and machine does not care. Machine gives you a result judging on wherever input was made.
I just want to say that's one of the silliest ways you can do the ending, and I'm glad it worked right now.
Yes.
Now a good time for a donation.
Yes, you can go ahead.
We have a $20 donation from Unosquid, which says, Pride Saba. Thank you so much for your donation.
Game over.
So, you may have noticed that Zillow played several songs and then the game suddenly said game over. That's because this is an arcade game, which means you have to enter a credit every time you start the game, and then it gives you only a certain amount of songs. You may notice there is a small rectangular shape at the top of the screen. It says Zillow's profile name. Zillow shows his title, which says specialist, and also shows some blinking hearts. Those hearts are the life bank, and by selecting a song, you reduce your heart bank by certain amount of hearts. If you pass the song with a grade A or higher, you get some hearts back normally. So I say two things right now. I say grades and I say titles. Let's go deeply into both of them. Pump It Up has a certain grade system which starts with an F as the worst grade, then it goes up D, C, B, A, and if you pressed everything without major mistakes, it gives you S, then it goes double S and triple S for all perfect input. So far Zillow was getting pretty much all S's and higher. And the level of his play, as you may notice, is not so easy. I see the chat approves of the song choice. This is another one of the originals in Pump It Up game. You may also notice a really interesting background video. It's one of the most iconic videos in Pump It Up. It's actually part of a series of videos that has a storyline. I think this is the first one? Yes, this is the first one. Pretty much it introduces all the characters. And each next game there was another song that continued the storyline, so you had to wait several years to know what's gonna happen. Now back to titles. Pump It Up XX is a current version of Pump It Up. It's a 20th anniversary version, which means it was released 20 years after the very first Pump It Up game. And one of the most interesting features Pump It Up XX introduced is titles. You can get titles by doing different tasks or different achievements. Some of them are skill-based, so it means you have to improve your play level. Some of them are more tricky. What Zillow has means he performed close to perfectly on 50 songs. There is a specific list of songs that require special skills for each. So Specialist is one of the hardest titles in the game to get. I think less than 10 people in the whole world have this title, because it requires not only speed but also good reading ability, reading fast, reading slow, and also precision. Pump It Up allows you to select for most of the songs if you want to read your arrows fast or you want to read it slow. There is such a thing as a speed mode, which is pretty much a multiplier that expands or contracts arrows on the screen. Usually players on higher levels read pretty fast, so they want distance between the arrows to be wider so they can react better. But sometimes when there are visual gimmicks in the song like slowdowns or speed ups, you can't really control what's going on and you have to adjust. Many rhythm games use a speed gimmick, so that's not new. Like DDR is notorious for having a lot of speed changes. Pump It Up requires a lot of different skills if you want to be a strong player. So now Zillow is playing actually one of very interesting step charts in the game. You can notice there are some arrows when he has to use one foot to press two arrows at the same time, and also there are very fast jumps where he has to slide really fast.
This is a couple donations.
Yes, go ahead.
We have a $5 donation from Anonymous, and we have a $300 donation from Fourth Strongest, which pushes us over the 8,500 mark, so we will get to see Zillow play at 27.
Hey! Let's see Zillow suffer. Okay, so you can see this is an A grade, means Zero missed some of the arrows. You also can notice that the grade is light blue color, but if the grade is gray and looks like a broken stone, it means during the gameplay a player dropped life bar below 0 but then recovered. In Pump It Up it's possible you can, if the machine is set up to stage break off, you can fail a life bar but then recover and still play the song until the very end. It looks like Zillow is trying to showcase us all the different kind of techniques that I used in Pump It Up. And all the things you have to learn if you want to be good in this game. Now pay close attention to what he does with his feet on the platform. You may notice that he changes really quickly on the yellow center panel, like stepping with right foot and then quickly jumping off and stepping with the left foot. In rhythm games, in dance games, it's called foot switches, and it requires very good tuning of your platform and very good precision of your steps, because if you get off and not pressing the steps on time, the panel won't react fast enough for the next step and you will be getting bats or misses. It's really difficult technique for some people to master. Let's see how he does on this song. And also this song is a cross song, a different group like I mentioned before. This song was crossed from a game called Easy to Arcade, which was a successor to Easy to DJ. You may have heard of that game or even played. It's a game similar to Bitmania 2DX, one of the Konami games.
I knew you could do it.
So, because of the cross folder, you may encounter some very familiar from other rhythm game songs in this game. I'm not sure if Zero is gonna play any of them, but you will certainly recognize some things. And this is good about Pump It Up. There is a variety of different genres of music, so pretty much not everyone, but most people can find something they like.
Prime. Fiesta to Fiesta 2.
So there is a question in chat if there is a search feature in this game. Sadly, no. There are some downsides for the Pump It Up interface. Sadly, it's not super easy to find a song, especially if you're not used to this sorting. There is alphabet sorting, but it works a bit weird, so it's still not quite easy to find, but the more you play the game, the more you get used to it. Pump It Up is also notorious to have game navigation through the dance platform, but in the later games it also introduced buttons on the cap that helps you to navigate with your hands, which is probably a more common way. Now this is something a bit different. This is a classical remix. I think the classic piece is called Pergund. I'm sorry if I'm making a mistake. And the most notorious thing about this one is it speeds up. The starting BPM beats per minute is 130, and it goes all the way up to 240, which is really, really fast. Yeah, you can see that last part of the song made Zillow move very, very fast.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, sorry, I slipped like right at the end of that. I'm glad I caught the end of the run. That last run is at 240 beats per minute. That's 16 steps a second. So it's quite fast. But I want to give a big shout out to reaching 8,500, so I will be playing the D27 at the very end of the showcase, so thank you all for donating. I'm going to do one more set of singles, and then we'll go into doubles, and we can talk about that when that happens.
Game over.
Yeah, we both were correct. Pergund is the big piece name, and Hall of the Mountain King is the actual small piece name.
YouTube. Difficulty zone single.
Let's see what Zillow's doing next. He's still keeping himself in the mid-hard range of difficulties and still doing singles. I'm kinda excited to see him play in doubles, but I guess he's keeping the most interesting part for a later half of the session. Do we have any more donations?
No donations at the moment, but we have blurbs that we can read.
Yes,
There's
let's go.
There's a wide range of ways to volunteer with the Trevor Project across the country. If you're interested in becoming a crisis counselor to support LGBTQ young people through their text or chat services, or helping out with their advocacy work in your home state, visit them at thetreasureproject.org/get-involved. If you live in New York City or LA, you can also sign up to be trained as a crisis counselor on Trevor Lifeline, their 24/7 phone line for young people in crisis. You can also support their work by donating at thetrevorproject.org/donate. Absolutely wonderful charity. Please get your donations in.
So another very interesting stuff Zillow is playing right now. This song is notorious for having different kind of technique that we call tapping, which means he has to repeatedly step on the same panel over and over and over again. We'll see another section of tapping soonish. Here you go. You can see he has to repeat the right arrow all the time, and now it's left up arrow, and the other foot has to move around. Most people say it's a very, very complex technique, and it takes time to master when you have to actually control the feet differently. Yeah, pump it up sometimes take a lot of brain to figure out what you have to do. It's not just like move your feet like you're walking around. Yes, chat says good spin. Sometimes you do it in Pump It Up. Also, you may not see it, but there are supporting bars on the platform, and if you go to play harder difficulties, you usually want to hold those bars to keep yourself supported and get more mobility and more speed. It's not necessary, and if you don't want to hold them or you can't for some reason, it's totally fine. But most players use those bars for support, and it's the widely spread practice. So when you see a sequence of arrows that makes you spin around yourself, you usually have to let that bar go and pretty much go fly by yourself. Oh, okay. Zillow explains something of the newer stuff in the game. So, as this game is a current version, it's been updated during the past 2.5 years. Now it's a bit on stagnation, but we're hoping there will be more new songs. So, this game has a system of patches. They were released pretty much every couple months, and every patch added new songs to the game. This is one of the latest additions. And this song also was present in a mobile version of Pump It Up called PIUM. Mobile version of Pump It Up is pretty much a mobile game that you play with your fingers, though some people somehow connected the dance pad to it. It has a very different selection of songs. Yeah, this song is very fast. It's one of the fastest songs in Pump It Up currently, if not the fastest. You will see at the very end of the music, Zillow has to move his feet really fast, like right at this time. And it's not easy to do. You need to optimize your feet movement a lot and have a lot of speed and stamina in your body to be able to sustain this speed.
Yeah, I knew you could do it.
This song is actually one of the content creation contest winners. The game producing company called Endamiro
Next stage.
used to hold some contests among the players to increase interest and gather some great content for the game. So this song was in one of those contests. And now it made it into the game and everyone can play it.
Level 23.
Zillow himself actually won a couple contests, and he created the step charts for the game that you can play. Okay, now he's going for something really hard. So you can see this is a level 23, which is already considered on the harder end. You have to be close to expert level of playing to not get lost and perform decently at this level. And the harder the difficulty gets, the more different techniques you can meet in one song. Like you can see here, it goes speed, it goes some journey movement, which means you have to move, not just face straight, but also turn slightly right or left with your whole body. It also has a lot of brackets. Bracket is what I mentioned before when you use one foot to press two neighbor arrows. Usually on single step charts it's center yellow arrow, like the square one, and one of the actual arrow-shaped arrows. But some people have big enough feet to press top red arrow and bottom blue arrow at the same time. Sadly, none of us have big enough feet, so you won't see that. Only 2 mistakes on such a hard level. That's pretty good.
I knew you could do it! Next stage! Level 24 over!
I think this is one of Zero's favorite songs in the whole game. Pump original songs have pretty good electronic music, can't deny that. Especially those introduced in the later games. Do we have any more donations?
Yes, we have a $30 donation from JT. Thank you so much for your donation, and definitely donate this to the amazing cause.
Yes, please. Please support this amazing cause, and thanks to everyone who donated by now. Thanks to all of you, we'll see Zero playing a very, very hard song. So there is a question in chat about some particular song. You see, Pump It Up does not support, at least arcade version of the game does not support adding custom songs. You only have a specific list provided by a game company that you can play. There are custom versions, but this is not a custom version. This is official version you can encounter in any arcade that has this kind of games. However, you can make custom steps for some of the songs, which means you can create whatever crazy things you want and play them in arcade. Now this was the level 24. Single step charts in the game go only up to 26, so this is third highest difficulty, and wow, only 6 mistakes. That's really, really good. That's a great play. That was insane. So you may be wondering why such a great play gives him a score so much lower than what you see in a personal best field. That's because this game has a separate play mode called rank. It's a play mode with a much harder judgment for those who want to challenge themselves, and as a reward for the challenge you get score bonus, pretty much all your points multiplied by 1 point to That's why.
Cut you off real quick. I'm done with the singles part of it. You're wondering the singles part of it. Well, this game also features doubles, and unlike DDR, doubles is a very, very integral part of this game's history. So it's where the real meat of the competitive game lies. But I also just wanted to remind everybody, make sure you take care of yourself doing any kind of physical activity, especially playing these games. Make sure you take proper breaks and hydrate. That's all I wanted to say. So I will get started again.
Yay! Let's move to the fun part. So, as I was saying, because Zilo played most of the songs in this game in rank mode, his personal best scores are much higher than what you see during normal play. Sadly, there is no way to distinguish in the current game. We really hope in the next game there will be a way. Zilo mentioned that doubles are a very huge part of Pump It Up tournament scene and community and just general gameplay. I think it's a unique trait of Pump It Up because if you play other rhythm games like In the Groove or Dance Dance Revolution, they mostly concentrate on just playing on one side of the platform, and if somebody plays both sides, they usually just do it separately. And if you go to a tournament, usually it's just playing on one side and two people play together against each other. But in Pump It Up it's more complicated. During tournament you can play singles, you can play doubles, you can mix them during the same match. So it's a bit more complicated, but Pump It Up UI is more friendly towards this because you can switch between singles and doubles during the same credit, which you can't do in DDR or in ITG. Yes, Scorpion King, this is another original song. It's one of the players' favorites. Sadly, when they were producing the song, they made some kind of mistake syncing arrows to the music, so it's not really on sync and it makes it harder to play. For some people, really hard. It's not easy to time. Pump It Up is mostly not about hitting precisely on time, but more about not making mistakes and trying to make a sequence of arrows you hit without mistakes as long as you can. Ideally for the whole song. Like in Dance Dance Revolution and in the Groove, you get less punished for a miss than you do in Pump It Up. But also judgments lower than perfect are less impactful for your score than in other games. Speaking of judgments, you may have noticed on the results screen it says perfect, great, good, bad and miss, and also says combo and total score. So perfects are your best judgments. Those are pressings pretty much ideal. Greats are slightly worse. Good means it was so-so, still pressed but not quite enough. Bad is like almost there, didn't miss but not quite precisely, and miss is complete mistake. Pretty much same as in most games, just the names may differ between the games. Okay, Zilo is playing something really interesting. This is a very old song. NX was released in 2006, I think? So this song is like 15 years old. Still a great song. And now you can see stops I mentioned earlier being utilized heavily in this step chart. So if you just see the arrows, you can't say when exactly you have to press them because they stop exactly on the step zone and you have to use your ears, or if you not very music competent, you may use your soul or just memorize and grow up some kind of muscle memory to figure out when exactly you have to press this. But This is not something you can play just from scratch, jump in and get good on the song in one try. And here you see another thing where you have to read slower than most of the song, which can be a problem for some players. I really like Arc of Darkness. It's one of my favorite songs. Funny enough, the background video of this song was inspired by a game Andemiro was trying to make long time ago. It was supposed to be a shooter called Arc of Shade, but it was never released. And this is the only relic left of that supposedly developed game. Pretty cool background though. Has some nice characters.
Next stage.
So you may notice that when Zero plays, the background is somewhat dark. It's because he's using a special mod called BGA Dark. It simplifies seeing the arrows on the screen, because if you don't use it, some of backgrounds are really bright and it makes the gameplay harder. But in rank mode you can't turn background off, so you have to fight background as well. But those points are good. Okay, this is interesting. If you like cute, fluffy animals, you're gonna like this background. But the step chart is pretty tricky. So you can see there are some very fast drills and there are some brackets and stuff, but there will be something else at the end of this song. Something that you see and you may go like, what in the hell is this? Here it comes. Now you see this big pile of arrows, and you may think, how are you supposed to play this? But look at his feet. It's pretty much just delayed brackets. So if in your brain you try to adjust it and see neighbor 2 arrows as a bracket, you just press them with one foot instead of trying to actually move your feet on every arrow separately. It's much easier to read and perform. That's really great. So he got only 4 slightly off judgments, and it's a double S on double level 23. That's very difficult.
Wow, new record.
You might have heard during the results screen that it did say "Wow, new record."
Next stage.
I actually did either tie or beat my PB score on the normal judgment, not the ranked judgment, but the normal score one. So that is a PB for Marathon, which I am counting.
Congratulations! That's great. Marathon PBs are always great. Let's get some excitement in chat, guys.
Fiesta to Prime. Pump it up, 20.
Oh, this is an interesting one. If you're good in music, you may notice some very interesting time signature in this music. Sadly, I'm not good, so I can't really explain how and what changes. This one is a bit similar to the previous step chart, in sense it has those delayed brackets at the very end. But you also get some pretty tricky movement in the middle part. Usually in Pump It Up step charts you get slightly harder parts and small breaks and harder part again, but the more difficult the step chart gets, the less break you get during the gameplay. And this one doesn't really have much of a break. You may see Zero keeps moving and moving and moving over and over. It's a really great cardio. In sense that you don't get too much like actual strength activity, but you keep moving. Here you go. So the tricky part about this pattern is you may see it like 16th notes, but in fact you have to press them as 12 notes, which is not so easy because it's not what you see and not exactly what you hear. If you got any more donations, it's a good time to read them.
No donations, but we do have a blurb to read. We are watching Winter Pride 2021 here on Twitch. We are running from December 3rd to the 5th for 24 hours each day. We are benefiting the Trevor Project. To find out more about them, you can read the link. You can find the link to their site on the panels below in the stream or use Bang Charity. If you're interested in donating, you can type Bang Donate in chat. Find Schedule by using Bang Schedule or Incentives with Bang Incentives.
New tunes. Difficulty zone double. Here you go. Pump it up. 20.
Oh, this is a song by one of the North American composers. It's one of the newest additions in Pump It Up XX. And there will be some very interesting visual effect at the very end. Once we'll see them, I'll tell you exactly what's going on. This is another pretty tiring song because it's mid-fast, but you constantly moving around, and there will be pretty long run at the end. We call a run a pretty long sequence of 16th notes when you have to just move around non-stop. And there's this tricky part with brackets in the middle. So the song is called Point 02. It's actually a sequel of another song called Point 01 in the same game. And now you can see a countdown. Very pretty effect, which is actually pretty hard and time consuming to make. And now the countdown stops at point 02, and you can also see in the background the same number. those visual effects are not very common in arcade charts for Pump It Up, but they can occur sometimes, and you don't have to press those arrows because technically they are outside of the step charts.
Next stage.
They are timed after the song already ends. There is a different mod in this game called Mission Mode, where you can see way more visual effects and other stuff that makes it game harder than just movement. Because missions can have various pretty strange requirements, like get specific number of specific judgment or specific grade. I don't think Zeal's going to show us any of the missions. But it's interesting to try them, especially if you get tired sometimes to play just the same songs over and over again. Actually, we did a speedrun of a mission mode in a different Pump It Up game called Pump It Up NX2 several years ago. And we're current world record holders of that mod at 15 hours 6 minutes. That was a pretty little run. Quote-unquote world record holders because nobody else was brave enough to try to do all the 33 missions in one go in the same day. This is a very, very cute song, but not the step charts. The step maker for this spent like, I believe it was 3 or 4 months just making sure everything was flowing really well. So the company actually hires really good players from Korea, the country that produces this game, to make step charts for the game. And they have a testing facility where they try everything to make sure it actually works and is playable. Or at least they try to check that it's playable, because the hardest stuff nobody is able to get decent combo, so they just say it's reasonable. Nobody's gonna die doing it. So, one interesting thing about Pump It Up is in most situations you don't have to press the hold in the head. You can just press in advance or stay there from the previous step and it will still work. Not always, but in most cases. So in harder charts they utilize it when visually it looks like you have to move a lot, but in fact you have to just stay in place and move only one foot. Figuring out intentions of the chart maker is one of the challenges. So sometimes you have to study videos on YouTube for a very long time to figure out what's going on and how to do it. And that was 5 misses. It's really, really good on this particular step chart. Let's see where else Zillow got.
Pump it up, 20.
I don't think he had any kind of game plan going into the session. Oh, this is interesting. So, the song he's going to play is from a Japanese composer, Sakuzio, and it's actually in a J-Music folder. It was licensed specifically for Japanese version of Pump It Up, but then it was crossed to the international version. You can see this song in some other games. I'm aware it's in Cytos 2, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere else. Very, very good song. Very nice to listen to. but it's also really tricky to play, especially at difficulty 24, because you have to move around a lot and it has a lot of twists. Twists are not only hard to read, because you have to alternate your feet, so it means you press one arrow with right foot and then next arrow you have to press with left foot. But it also means a lot of movement. You have to move your middle body and upper body to not get stuck and have enough room for your feet to reach for the arrows. So look closely at Zillow's legs and how far and how fast he moves. There are also some very interesting parts in this song because you have to somewhat turn away from the screen. Not quite turning away with the bar, but if you're playing without holding the bar, you pretty much move away from the screen and turn back around. They like doing it nowadays. Like, we call it 180s and 270s. Reference the degrees of how far your body goes away. So in chat, Calaria mentions the middle 4 twists. Some people call it a half double twist after a game mode that was in one of the very old games that had only middle 6 arrows and didn't affect the far red and blue arrows. For many people it's harder to read because all the arrows are condensed and the positioning is not quite as simple as when you play singles or just move around straightly for doubles. 3 misses is very good. Zillow has double S on this with normal judgment, and his personal best is S with rank mode. Is there a chart with 360? Yes. Even this chart Zillow played has some 360s, but you don't always have to do them. Sometimes there are some techniques like running around yourself when you somewhat spin but somewhat don't. It's hard to explain on words. You just try it and figure it out and you just feel it. But some require you to spin around. Zillow did one of those charts before Napalm S21 when he pretty much spun on the run. There are way easier stuff like Beethoven Virus mentioned in the chat. It's a classic example. And it has spins in almost every chart. But many players don't like doing spins because they get dizzy. And it's hard to go back to pressing arrows that come straight after the spin if you're not ready. On the other hand, some players like to specifically pick the charts with the spins and show off. It looks cool. Just depends on your playstyle. This is an original song from another Japanese composer, Void. Zillow likes this one a lot. It's a great music. So, this is a rhythm game, but sometimes step makers don't actually follow the music. There are some step charts when there are 12 notes in the music, but step maker pulled 16s. And this is one of those step charts when not all the notes in the step chart correspond to what actually is in the music. I don't think they do that on purpose many times, but it's additional challenge to not listen to what's going on and just look at the arrows and press what they suggest you to do. Here's a pretty complicated run at the very end. Small bracket part. Oh, got a miss at the very end. So you notice there was a 4-panel long note hold at the very end. If a player wants to grow up and play better, they need to learn how to balance on those kinds of notes, because if you just stand on the pad, the holds will let go, and unlike other games, in Pump It Up the holds keep giving you points, so keep ticking you when you press them. Like in DDR or ITG, you press the hold, if you let it go, it just goes and not much happens. In Pump It Up, it will keep giving you a lot of misses, and you may fail easily. Pump It Up has forced fail if you get 51 miss combo in a row, so losing those holds is pretty bad. And okay, go ahead.
I'm back for just a second. Thank you all for watching the showcase. This next credit is going to be my last. I'm going to play two of my favorite songs in the game, a 24 and 25, and then we will do the Deep 27 that you all graciously donated for. So thank you very much. But I will get started and hopefully not puke at the end of it.
Good luck.
Let's go.
Okay, so this is the last credit. Let's see what Zillow got for us. He said 24 and 25 and then 27. So up till now, Zillow was playing songs that were between 1 minute and 30 and 2 minute 20, something around that. We call this arcade land songs. That's pretty standard for arcade games. And the last song he's going to play, the level 27, it will be a remix. It means it's a mashup of several songs together, and B, that song will be longer than normal songs. It's something about 3 minutes something. So it's additional challenge for longer songs without break. Oh, this is a very interesting pick he did. This song is called Flew Far Faster, but just to make it shorter, people called it FFF. And there is a very interesting effect in the second half, which is sadly, or maybe not sadly, not visual. So that means you have to actually press everything that's on the screen. Unlike in 0.02 we saw those numbers that we didn't have to press. So here goes the easy part, and it's almost there. Here you go. Now if you look closely at the screen, you may recognize a letter F for FFF. And Zillow has to press everything in here, which is pretty tricky because you have to position yourself doing pretty fast movement at the same time. And first it was 1 hold and 2 panels, and last few bunches were 1 hold and 3 panels. And it does not stop there. You have to move for like 20 seconds at very fast speed without a break. That's level 24, really hard. Only 1 miss. This is very good for this song so late in the night. It's actually 3 AM here. Wow, I didn't notice. This is not the only song that does that. There is another song called D, and it has a step chart consisting pretty much of just letter D. D, D, D.
Next stage.
And D is a remix of a classical piece called Destiny, which is also funny. So let's see what did he pick for his second to last song. Oh wow, that's a great one. This is one of latest additions to the game. Very, very great electronic track. And person who was responsible for making step charts for this song loved it so much. They made a lot of step charts. It has a double 20, double 21, double 22, and double 25. That is a lot. Chat says, I was so sad when the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Song didn't contain any of the alphabet in the chart. That would have been too many letters in the step chart. There would have been left no space for any just normal arrows. Though it's a good idea. You can actually make a UCS. Go for that. I'd look. I wouldn't play, but I would look. So, this one is not very hard on fast movement, but it's tricky on the feet position because you can see there's a lot of bracketing. I hope by this moment of the stream you can already figure out what is bracket and how to distinguish it in this wall of arrows.
The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Cat says, imagine an entire WM. Funny enough, in Pump It Up there are patterns that we call W and M. M run is, it looks like a diagonal through the whole screen or the half screen, depending on what chart you're playing. Some people also call it stairs. And W is the same pattern but mirrored, so pretty much if you turn the screen 180 degrees. So yeah, there is no need to, well, actually there is a full song dedicated to M pattern. Sadly Zero did not play it. It's a very famous chart for Mr. Larbos who lives in a high tower with a lot of stairs. Wow, another PB. You can hear that the game said wow, new record, which means Zero got a PB, and you also see the blue number, which indicates how much he increased his score.
Next stage.
That was impressive. Really, really good play. Zero is on fire tonight. Here guys, let's cheer him up for the last song. He's going for a very, very hard stuff. This is the only level 27 he passed without dropping life bar to 0, as you can see by the blue grade in his personal best. So let's wish him luck. Let's hope he can...
Oh,
okay.
Let's hope for a second pass tonight.
Sure, go ahead. Fire left game few versions ago and Hot even longer. Well, actually no, Hot was... I'm actually not sure, it's too late for me to think. I'm pretty sure Hot was up till Prime 1 or Prime 2? Let me check real quick. Thanks chat for the good luck. Let's hope Zilo can read it. Yeah, Hot was removed in Prime. I'm pretty sure it was the same as Fire. At least Fire by 2 anyone. No, fire was removed in Prime as well. Both hot and fire were removed in Prime. Anyways, enough of the chit chat. Let's cheer up on Zillow. He's doing one of the hardest step chart in the game. There are only 4 level 27s by now, I think. This one was the first one. It was actually released 10 years ago, in 2011. And back then nobody could even imagine somebody could play this song. And now quite a lot of people already stage pass it. It's hard in so many ways. You have to do twists, you have to move far from one way to the other way, you have to do drills. Drills is when you have to repeatedly press 2 arrows over and over, like pretty much drilling them. There are brackets, there is pretty much every technique in this game represented in this step chart. And it's also one of the fastest songs. It's 222 and 0.22 BPM. This step chart also has 2222 arrows, which we called vacuum cleaner number. This remix is called Vacuum Cleaner, by the way. It's a mix of the songs called Vacuum and Cleaner. If there is anything you would like to say, please go ahead.
No, we're just gonna sit here and watch and be amazed.
Yes. Also, here you could see those stair-looking patterns. Those are what we call emeralds. It's also very hard to perform on doubles because the movement is just so fast and so intense from side to side. Some people actually choose not to perform it correctly, but either to cheat. I think so. I didn't pay attention.
Oh,
Yes! He got a blue A. It means he did not drop the life bar. That's amazing performance, especially at the end of the marathon showcase. So good.
oh wow. What a finish.
Amazing gameplay. It was not his best score because he started and he probably was conserving, but
Next stage.
just getting a blue grade, it's so good. Amazing. What a finish.
What a finish.
Non-integerness of PPM makes it double hype. Well, as I mentioned before, the creators of the game just like silly jokes, and this was one of the silly jokes and memes. Just makes
I
the
am back.
PPM funny.
My goal for that was just to get a pass, and we got it. Mid-marathon, even being out of shape, I'm happy enough with that.
Massive success. How are you feeling now after all that?
I'm hungry. So, thank you all for dropping in for this showcase. Thank you again, Power Up with Pride staff, for having me again for Winter Pride and let me do this showcase. I really appreciate it, and I really love supporting the Trevor Project like this. It's great work, and much love to everyone for joining, donating, supporting. It's all appreciated. But I think that's gonna do it for me. Haru, you have anything left to say?
Yes, thank you for all the stuff, for having us and for having such a great event, for such a great cause. Thanks to everyone who donated. It's really appreciated. Thanks to people in chat for the hype. It was so fun to be with y'all. And everyone have a good night and good sleep. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much for the run, and have an amazing food. Up next, we have Gaia's with a remake of Dragon Quest I, which we are also super hyped for. We will be back after a short break and with Dragon Quest 1.